Hello everyone and welcome to today's HJ Goes Live session. I'm super looking forward to this session. I think it'll be helpful for me as well as for all of you. So today we will be talking about how to deal with feelings of fear, anxiety or worry during lockdown. And we have the amazing Louise Wood with us today, who you might know from LWPR. She's the LW and LWPR, but she's also a trained counsellor. So it's great to have her with us today. Hello there, Louise.
Hi, Laura. It's great to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Brilliant. And I guess the topics we'll be covering today, it's things that we're all going through at the moment during lockdown. It's, as the media say, unprecedented circumstances. So it is affecting all of us. But so I guess if you have any questions, do please feel free to share them with us and let us know if you would rather be left anonymous, because we don't have to say your name. We can just give the question. But I guess to kick off, Louise, I mean, obviously it's a crazy time at the moment, isn't it? And people must have a real mix of emotions going on during the lockdown, whether you're a salon owner, a hairdresser, or whether you've got clients coming to you feelings of worry or anxiety. What would be your tips and advice for how to deal with those feelings at the moment?
That's a good opener, Laura. I think one of the main things, just to kind of take it a step back before dealing with how you deal with other people, I would probably say, look at what you're feeling yourself. Try and work out what's going on in you, because actually, before you go to the rescue, and this comment comes from the world's biggest rescuer, I'm always there with my 999 blue light, trying to fix, trying to help. And that's one of the things that actually kind of almost took me into looking more into counselling. Because actually, I think it's very easy to look at other people and try to fix them. And if I put that in inverted commas, but actually, if we try to calm and still ourselves first and get ourselves out of anxiety states or fear states, and that's not to say we're ignoring the state, because at the moment, I can't imagine anyone isn't suffering in some way from some form of fear, worry, anxiety, and these things sort of come on a scale from hugely off the scale anxieties, which are very high level, to an underlying sense of just waking up in the morning feeling a bit worried about things. And I think I would encourage people to kind of, before you leap into the day, sort of tap into what you feel like. We wake up feeling all sorts of different things in the morning. I mean, I woke up the other day and felt really glum. I mean, there was no particular reason, but I just kind of thought, I just feel rubbish today. I feel low, I felt tearful, and I just sort of took myself off a little bit and tried to work out what was going on and just be a bit sort of kind to myself instead of, oh, for heaven's sake, Louise, just sort of thought, yeah, well, no wonder you are, because lots of things have changed. So be a bit accepting of those feelings, but also sort of, as we chat, I'm sure we'll sort of look at ways that perhaps those feelings could be regulated.
Definitely. And do you have any tips for kind of how to engage and sort of listen to yourself a bit more about how you are feeling? So I guess some people might try and push that to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I think there's some what I would say at the moment is I wouldn't try to unlock huge things in the past that are really difficult, probably on your own. If you're with somebody trusting, and I think who gives you the permission to feel and talk, I think that's great. Talk it through, write it down, find ways to do that. But actually, if these are really big time undealt with things, maybe a little piece of work that you could start doing is sort of thinking, well, I've got a history of anxiety. I always suffer when things, are out of my control, where I feel like I can't see what's ahead. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks. That really, triggers off anxiety in some people. In fact, all of us like to know a little bit what's ahead. We like certainty, don't we? Which is why we're suffering at the moment, because it's uncertain.
Exactly. And we all like a bit of routine, don't we? And we're all out of our routines, which can make us feel a little bit uncomfortable.
That's right. So I would say at the moment, try to tap into, there's lots of things we don't have control over. We don't know when we're going to go back. The salons are going to open. We don't know when we're going to go back to work. We don't know when our partners are going to be in work, if they are, when the kids will go back to school. There are so many things we do not know. So I would say pull it back, quite small. So what do I know today? So today I know I feel a bit anxious. I'm feeling a bit worried about things. So I might do some breathing. I might just sort of try and settle things. And then I might just think, you know what, actually, what I do know is I've got some food in the fridge.
Yeah.
I then make myself a nice coffee, which actually I did before I started here.
Love your mug as well. It's a very cute mug.
I think pull it right into what have I got in my control, because we like to feel there's something we can influence. And you know, you might think, well, I can go for a walk. I can cook something nice. I can see what I'm gonna. Maybe I'll draw something. Maybe I'll write something down about what I'm feeling at the moment.
And I guess it could be as simple as, I mean, obviously most of the people watching will be hairdressers, kind of, you know, pampering yourself. You're used to pampering your clients. Maybe it's about giving yourself a bit of pampering.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah. We've had a few questions come in now, Louise. So do let us know if you'd rather your question be read out anonymously. But these ones, we have got their names. So Sharon has said, morning, and my confidence is shattered at the moment. She's lost 2 clients and she's feeling scared about going back to work.
Yeah. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I think that, thank you very much for sharing that. And I think you probably expressed something that so many people are sharing. And I think confidence is one of the things that gets really hit when we don't know what's ahead. You know, and I don't know what else is going on in your life. Obviously, I can't sort of speak specifically to that. But what I would say is maybe one of the things you could perhaps look at doing is, what are the things you feel you're doing really well at the moment? You know, or what do you think you're doing quite well? I don't think we have to be brilliant at the moment. We just have to be good enough. And I think that is a really hard concept for us, because there's that achievement thing in a lot of people. And in hairdressing, it's like, you know, I want to be the best, and I want to be amazing. I want to be the best on social media, and look how well people are coping. And I think that goes to our confidence. We look around and everything that's visible looks like everybody is doing it better than we are. And I don't think that's true.
No, I mean, social media can be a good thing and a bad thing, can't it? Because it unfortunately does mean that people start comparing themselves to what everyone else is doing, when really sometimes it's better to just forget about that and concentrate on you.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I think just going to that confidence point, I'll just say, you know, all of the skills and all of the things that made you you before this happened, you've still got.
Yeah.
You know, clients will come and go, things will happen that will make us question ourselves. But actually, what I would say is, look at what's in your control, what do you have choices about, and what are your responsibilities. So you can't help if people choose to come and go, and there will be things that influence their decisions. They are very unlikely to be about your skills or about you as a person. They'll be their own things. So I think if you can try and work at the separation between what somebody else has done and how it's made you feel, that's probably quite a good thing to.
Exactly. And I guess, I mean, in these awful circumstances, losing 2 clients, it might mean that they've lost their battle with what's been going on. So I guess if the feelings of fear, would you recommend sort of doing something practically, like thinking how will you go when salons do eventually reopen, think practically about what you can do to protect yourself and your staff and your team as well?
If you're a salon leader.
Yeah.
I think we're going back into a bit of a new world in a lot of ways. And I think it's not of our choice, and it's not of our making, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if we perhaps start from the premise of we're going to give more permission for people to feel. And I think that sounds like a weird counsellor phrase, but what I mean is, if I ask you, Laura, how are you feeling? I'm really asking you how you're feeling. And I think if we're going to ask those questions now, of course we can't always have the time to handle somebody going into I feel really overwhelmed, I feel like my life's ruined. You know, that's perhaps not a conversation we can we can handle every single minute of every day. But actually, if you're really asking a question of somebody and you've got the time, which actually at the moment we really do have the time to invest in listening, and if you're honestly asking, people are much more likely to honestly tell you. And I think we're going to be faced with those things when we go back. I think people are going to tell us of their struggles. And actually, in hairdressing, you know, you in a way you're already being those people who hear so much of what your clients say. And I think if you ask those questions, sort of go into your day settled yourself, so that what you're doing is you're standing on fairly firm ground. And that's kind of like how I try to start the day. I sort of think, well, okay, what's my business? What's my stuff that I need to sort out? And of course, I have days when I don't feel that confident or something's happened and I feel upset. And I'll just sort of stop and just go, okay, what is that about? And what can I do to make myself accept that I feel that way? Not be cross with myself, not be impatient, not sort of say, oh, for heaven's sake, Louise, pull yourself together. These are not helpful things, because actually all we're doing is saying to our feelings, which are trying to tell us something. They're trying to let us know something's out of kilter. If we brush them off, all we're saying is, be quiet. I don't want to hear you. Go away. And for me, unexpressed feelings, they don't go away. They mushroom. They tend to mushroom, certainly anxiety mushrooms, but every feeling comes back. It'll find another way. So it'll come out in a stiff back, in, you know, achy shoulders, bottom of your back will be stiff, you know, all sorts of physical aspects. So I think we really owe it to ourselves to be good to ourselves.
Definitely.
And then we can be good to our clients. That's a long way of going around the thing. But I think until we invest in us and sort of, it sounds selfish, it sounds like a selfish behaviour. It's a word that I came across donkeys years ago, and it's probably very in the common language now, sort of self-care. And I think a lot of people kind of, it's an uncomfortable idea that for us Brits. It sounds a bit self-indulgent, but I do think unless we fill up our own selves, we don't actually have enough to give to other people.
No, so, exactly.
You know,
And I guess tuning into this session is a great first step, isn't it? Because it's accepting that you are feeling anxious and worried, and you want to talk about that. And we've had, that seems to be a recurring theme, Louise. So Amanda said that she's losing sleep over finances. She's worried about being able to keep it together if the salon is closed for a long period of time. I guess money worries, that'll be affecting a lot of people at the moment.
Yeah, and I kind of, when you said that, I read that out, I kind of feel a little clench in my chest. I think, well, I really feel for you, Amanda. I think that's, you know, thank you for sharing that as well. It sounds like a really, really tough place to be, and I'm really sorry that you're feeling that at the minute. You're not alone, which doesn't necessarily make you feel better, and you know you're not alone. But there are some things that I would perhaps offer that might be of some use. Preparation for a good sleep is going to help you to feel better the next day. If we can look after our sleep, our movement, if we can move in the day, that will always release stress. Doing some form of activity, whether it's just a walk or a run or a exercise session in the morning, those things will absolutely help to relieve your stress, which will impact the way that you're able to sleep. With sleep, we are much better able to cope with the problems of the day. These things don't make those problems disappear. What they do is to help regulate the anxiety that you're feeling at the moment, Amanda. And that, in a sense, that's the thing that is so important. One of the things I was going to mention, and it might be a good time to do that, is I've got this this little, you can see that, my little
I love the box.
It's my toolbox, my little toolbox.
Hermione Granger's
magic box. And there are some things in here that actually I was going to mention, and Amanda's questions just made me think of it. I have some things in here that just remind me to do things for myself. This is only my toolbox, and what I'm thinking is, you know, everybody here who's listening to this will be a hairdresser, And what I would say is you never turn up for work without your stuff. You never turn up.
Your kit bag. Yeah.
Your kit, you know what your kit is, you know what your tools are to make you a really effective hairdresser.
Yeah.
And I would say this is my emotional toolkit, if you like, to make me function better as a human being.
I think that's a great tip, and that's something that we can all take from this.
We can build our own
emotional toolkit. Yeah.
And actually, this is about emotional, being in touch with us, being able to say, actually, I'm feeling really crap today. So what is in my box that I know makes me get into a good place? I can get out of anxiety and into my calmer place. And that's not to dismiss anxiety. It's to say, thank you, anxiety. I know you're there and I get all that. But actually, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing everything I can. Amanda, I should imagine you've gone and talked to everybody you can. Financially, you'll have taken the advice you can.
And a lot of people are saying how scared they are about going back into the salon. So this worry and fear seems to be shared across the board.
Yeah, I think that's just probably the emotion that is just kicking off big time at the minute. So my little earphones, they remind me that I've got several tools that can really help me when I feel anxious or worried or off the scale, whatever degrees. I have got things that help me. I've got, and I will actually, Laura, I don't know where I need to put it because I'm not very technical. I have got some signpost things for some of the things I'll mention.
Oh, brilliant.
Some of these people will already know, so forgive me if you oh gosh, I already know that. But what I would say is try them. Don't just know about it. Engage.
Give it a go.
Try it. Often these things take a few days to work. So I've got a few apps that I've downloaded. There's one called Headspace, there's one called Calm, there's one called Soul Care, and there's one called Breathe. They are all, I think, excellent. The one I tend to listen to the most is Calm. And that just has some lovely, it has meditative music on, which I actually find a bit annoying, so I don't tend to listen to that.
Would you normally start the day or end the day with something like that? Or would you just tap into your feelings and maybe plug in whenever you're feeling a little bit?
I nearly always listen to it before I go to sleep because it puts me into the deepest sleep. I can fall asleep really quickly, but then I wake up within an hour and then I can't get back to sleep. If I listen to this Calm app and they have things like children's stories, so actually that is, I love listening to things like that. I used to read my children's stories. They're obviously grown up, so I no longer do that. But I find that whole process really calming. Like a childlike story is a real sort of settling way to kind of calm yourself. I listened to Cinderella the other night and I dropped asleep.
Oh, I love that. I don't think I would fall asleep though. I think I'd want to listen to the whole thing first.
It's got Wind of the Willows on. Anyway, it's got stories. So sometimes stories, and they're such soothing. They're read in such a soothing way. I think they just calm you in a very deep way, and they take your brain. You come out of your rational brain, which is where Amanda, you'll be at the moment, really chewing things over. It keeps coming round and round. It's the same thing. It goes.
And actually, there's nothing wrong with a bit of escapism, is there? I mean, one of the things I've done during lockdown is I invested in Disney Plus, and I've been watching all the classic Disney films at the weekends, and that's actually helped me because it's a little bit of escapism. You forget about everything that's going on in the world, and there's always a happy ending.
Happy ending, and it takes you out of yourself. Sometimes we cannot. You can't just look at everything that's worrying because it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. There's tending to it, there's calming. You can calm yourself. I think anxiety is incredibly infectious. So everybody you speak to says, oh, are you worried about this? Are you worried about that? Actually, even if you look like you're not worried, your anxiety inside is kicking off a bit, growing a bit. So actually, we're kind of infecting each other with that. But I would say calm is as infectious as anxiety. And actually, if you can just take things slower and lower, so it's just slow it all down a bit, slow the pace of things, breathe, quick breathing exercise, breathe in for 9, out for 7, or in for 7, out for 9. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Do it for 10 breaths, it will bring you down out of your anxiety. And at that point, you can then think, okay, I'm feeling a bit calmer. I can now do something. That's something I need to do, or I can just be. I'm going to go and listen to my lovely playlist. I've got a calming playlist, and I've got an upbeat one that I love tuning into.
And do you think it's important for us not to feel guilty about this at the moment, to not feel guilty about these feelings and wanting to step away from the real world for a little bit?
Really important, Laura. Yeah, I think so. And I think another little thing in my toolbox is this frame. And the reason I've got that in there is actually it's a picture of a very happy day. So I look at that and I'm straight into that was one of my happiest days of my life. Loved it. It was my daughter's wedding, but it was just
fantastic. That was last year, wasn't it, Louise?
Last year, but we were happy, we were dancing, we were carefree. And actually, by looking at that picture, I'm like, life will come back. And we'll
it's a good reminder that you'll have another day like that at some point in the future.
Other days like that.
Yeah.
They don't always have to be big wedding days. I can have a coffee with my friend and that would be a great day. And I think that, and it's in a frame. And the reason I have it in a frame is because I think it's really important to reframe your day. I think you can get to the end of the day and think that was a really shocking day.
Exactly. And actually, Louise, hairdressers, they're very creative, obviously. So maybe just doing like a positivity mood board or something, where rather than thinking about creatively from a hair point of view, you could just put all of the things that make you feel positive onto a board.
Yeah. Colours.
Yeah.
Paint. Making things. Writing stuff down in the book. Here's my book. Hold on, let me overthink this.
Oh, I love that.
I write down my things that I really
invest in some cool stationery and get it sent home. Yeah.
So there's lots of little things. There's a box of tissues because sometimes I just want a bloody good sock.
Yeah.
That, children are so good at that. Children cry when they're hurt. As adults, we're so brave. We don't want to cry. We don't want to let it out. But actually, you feel better when you've had a bit of a flub. And then
exactly.
I feel we've been given this, we talk about rainbows at the moment, and we have a rainbow of emotions.
Yeah.
And there isn't a bad emotion in there. There are some that we feel a bit overwhelming, but they're there for a reason. And I think if we can go, I know that reason, and I get why, Amanda's not managing to go to sleep at night because there are real worries. But there will also be some things that you can ground yourself in that's, just put your feet on the floor. You're in a home where you feel hopefully safe. You have a roof over your head. You have food in the cupboard. Just take it back to some of the things that you do know about. And I think those things can be very grounding and calming.
Definitely. And I think this is helpful I haven't asked all of these questions, but I think the advice Louise is giving is relevant for all of you, whether you're anxious about the fact salons will be closed for months, which Alexandra has said. Tracy has said that she has a dilemma as she's a high risk and she's panicking about ever being able to go back as she's shielding at the moment. Others have just said they're just scared to go back to the salon. So I guess all of this advice you're giving about how to kind of rethink and engage with your feelings will help people in all of these different situations.
I think that's true. And I think this steps thing, Laura, is huge, a huge gain for us if we can think in small steps. I mean, I'm with you. The idea, and I'm sitting in my office actually at the moment, and there's nobody in there. And it used to be full, and we all used to be. But now it's sort of like, well, how can that happen safely? We're all, that's our big concern at the moment, is how we get back to some safe sort of normal again.
Yeah.
And I think we will do it in stages. And I think we're probably, if we can break it down into, well, you're not going to walk into a salon that's got 50 people in it or 20 people in it. You're perhaps going to have 6 appointments that are spread out. People will have distance. If we start to think how we can manage it, safely, but anyway, there will be government guidelines. It won't be down to us. So we'll be following those. But there's no way it's just going to be all open and everybody will be flooding in. So I think there will be safety in that. And kind of.
I guess we have to trust that the scientists and all of the officials and everything, they will do what's right for us.
Yeah.
So we have to have a bit of trust in that as well, and take a bit of comfort in that. So
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
I think, having some trust in others and feeling they're doing the right thing as they see it. They've got the magic wand, apart from obviously Harry Potter. And,
we all need a Hermione Granger box. Have you got anything else in your box of tricks there, Louise?
I've got lots of things in my box. One of the things actually, you've just reminded me, Laura, I would say is, really be diligent and careful about what comes into your world. At the moment, we can invite what we want in. We can let what we want in, and we can put boundaries down to keep uninvited guests, like too much news, for example, out.
Yeah.
And say, we don't need to be checking I don't want to check my news app. I don't look at the news. I literally watch it for about.
And I think the media has really taken hold of the hairdressing industry, but not necessarily in the right way always. So my suggestion would be to check in on HJ's website and organisations like the NHBF, who will be stating the facts as we know them at any present point in time, because the media can be a little bit scaremongering for people, can't it?
Yes. And I think if you're in an anxious state of mind, what often happens is you start just looking for everything.
Yeah.
And keep on looking for information. And actually the only thing that's going to do is freak yourself out.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think there comes a point where it's like, actually, I know enough. Today, we can't go out, and today we're not back at work.
Yeah.
And that sometimes is as much as you can deal with. And we know we're not going to be back at work next week. But actually, we don't know what's going to happen the week after next. And I think this uncertainty is something that's sort of quite a good lesson to us all, really, is that we think we're in control, but actually we don't have to be in control of as much as.
No.
I don't know. I think sort of letting go of some of those things isn't a bad thing. Yeah.
And do you think it's a good idea for people to try and bring some fun into every day during these difficult times? For instance, I invested in a badminton set, and I'm lucky enough to have a garden, so I've been playing badminton in the garden. It just cheers me up. So
definitely. Yeah, I think so. I think we're all doing lots of chatting with friends, Zoom times, all this sort of thing. We're playing a lot of cards and linking, and we're going to dress up on Saturday night and have a mystery murder dinner.
Fantastic.
We're just, and actually sometimes I would just watch early episodes of Friends because they make me laugh.
Yeah, it's like, even if you know the joke that's coming, you still know you're going to laugh about it. I do love a bit of Friends.
I love Friends. And I like looking on YouTube at funny things. I've got a very naughty sense of humour. I love seeing people fall over and things like that. So YouTube framed things like that, they just make me howl.
So that could go into your imaginary toolkit, your Hermione Granger box of tricks. If that's the thing that makes you smile.
It totally does.
And you're having a bad day, then that's the thing to do.
That's exactly right, Laura. And I think if you think, I haven't always felt like this, so what do I do when I feel good? What things do I do to put me into a good feeling? When did I last feel good? What was I doing? When did I last feel this? Did it go? Anxiety always goes. Actually, high anxiety, the highest anxiety can only really last at its height for about 20 minutes. And when you think about it in lots of detail, it invariably goes over the curve. But people, usually think they're going to live in that state forever. Well, you don't. Nothing's forever. But yes, my little box of tricks. The other thing I have in here, which I don't know if I can find it now. Oh, I've got this, which is a battery charger. What have I done to charge my batteries today? What have I done for me?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Yeah.
Because we're all for doing lots of things for other people. And when you're back at work, you're going to be giving everything to your clients. You're going to be so pleased they're back. But don't forget to charge your own batteries up first. So,
and I guess then people will have to listen to other people's problems, clients' problems, when they're back in the salon. So you've got to think about yourself as well and think about how you're feeling.
Yes, I think so. Some of the things they're talking about might trigger the things that you've been experiencing. And actually, we don't want to get back into an anxiety knot in the salon. That's not going to be helpful to anybody. But you might be hit with some quite big news from clients. Know how much the clients talk about their deep personal lives with hairdressers. It's probably the most unique thing about the relationship. But yes, I think. And so actually, if I wanted to really calm myself quickly, and I haven't got my wedding picture, I've got a picture of Cornwall in here, and I love standing by the sea in that raging sea. It makes me feel small. It reminds me that I'm not in control. Actually, nature is in control.
Yeah.
And that always makes me, in a funny way, feel very soothed, because actually it takes so much responsibility away. I'm
Definitely.
like, oh, okay, then I'm not in charge. Actually, that's good. Yeah, I'm fine to not be in charge.
I think there's been lots of great tips and advice there from you, Louise. I love the idea of getting lots of positive pictures together as well. And I guess people could create a little album on their phone or something, which then they've got when they do go back into the salon to put them up as well as now.
Yeah, I think so. We can find, you can find beautiful postcards. Yeah, they don't always have to be beautiful pictures. They can be stormy pictures. They're days that actually this really represents how I feel today. It's cloudy, cloudy sky. It reminds us that we have all of these things in life. Life isn't just the standing on the beach, seeing the waves and feeling great.
Yeah.
My life's not, your life's not. We all have things in our lives that are challenging. And I think, to time like this, sometimes we can get overwhelmed thinking this is all there is. And that's what these boxes are for. They're to remind us that it's not. And actually have have hope. I'm really hopeful. And I wouldn't say I necessarily always feel hopeful, but I choose to be hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm choosing hope over despair. I'm choosing to think, this amazing industry is going to get back on its feet. If anyone can, hairdressing can. Definitely. And the love that clients have for their hairdressers, how much have we felt that now? So
exactly. And for better or worse, that's why the media is so obsessed with the hairdressing industry, because they know how much people want to have a haircut and get their hair dyed.
And let's hope they carry on talking about it as much as this afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got to keep it at the front of mind.
Absolutely.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I think we're going to have to start wrapping up now, Louise. But this has been a fantastic, inspirational chat. I hope everybody takes on Louise's advice and puts together their own Hermione Granger box of tricks. I know I'm certainly going to do it. And please do stay in touch with us. And obviously, worries that are specifically relating to the money side of things or to the protection, please do keep checking out HJ's website and all of the big organisations within the industry. Like the NHBF, they've been doing lots of great work. The hair and beauty charity is there for everyone during these times as well. And we've all got to stick together, haven't we?
We're sticking together and we're pulling for you. We're in your corner. And I think there's so much goodwill out there that's what we need to really hold on to.
Yeah. Exactly. Perfect. Oh, thank you so much, Louise. And thank you for sharing your expert words of wisdom with us.
It's a pleasure, Laura. It's been really lovely to chat with you. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.